Welcome to Module 7 of Making Money with Forex. It's time to get some trading done. First, we're going to look at the general overview of the situation when we open, so using our tools and techniques to get a starting point for our trading session. Then we'll look at individual trade entry and exit signals, and hopefully we'll actually do some trading as well if the conditions allow. After studying the previous modules, you should now be aware of many different trading signals, such as the rule of thirds, the time of day involved, forex climate, news releases, current direction of travel, Bollinger Bands, Jeff's lines, all sorts of different things. Well, we're going to use some of them to see where we are, where we're starting our trading environment for this session. Then we'll look at individual trading conditions using the Bollinger Bands and Jeff's lines. And we'll also have a look at a special situation for trading gaps. It is now 8:38 on Monday the 20th of August 2012 in what's a very quiet trading period. Over the last 8 trading days the market hasn't moved by even 75 points on any of the days. And we're looking at the 1 minute chart. We can see on this that the price is currently towards the bottom, but still heading towards the bottom of the lower Bollinger Band. Flicking through, I would look at the 5 minutes, and there we sort of are hitting and going through the middle. We're at the green line, which is last night's opening price, so we return to that, which is significant. On the 15-minute chart, we're towards the top, and on the 30-minute, we're towards the top. On the 1 hour, again, hit the top and come off, and quite close to our 1.57, which is a whole number price. We can see that too. 4 hours are in the middle. I'll explain the blue area in a moment. And on the day, right in the middle. And on the week, we can now see the 2 blue rectangles. We're looking at my rule of thirds. So I've taken the extreme right hand end points of the upper and lower Bollinger Bands, and I've divided the area between them into 3, approximately 3. It's not an exact science. So the upper area of blue would tell me that we're in the upper third of the last 20 weeks of trading averages, and the bottom blue area would tell me in the bottom of the last 20 weeks range. The middle area, where the current price is, tells me we're in the middle, and pretty much in the middle. So therefore I'm happy to take a view which could be either buy trades or sell trades in this area. Had we been in the upper area, I'd be more interested in sell trades. Had we been in the lower blue area, I'd be more interested in buy trades. Next, I check out the forex climate. You can see here I'm looking at the 1 hour forex climate. The last signal was Friday. It's a red downward signal, even though the trend of the candlesticks is currently up. And we can see towards the bottom right hand area of the chart that there may well be a crossover coming. So we may be due for another signal. So I look at the 4 hour forex climate chart. We can see that in fact that has an upward arrow, again from Friday, early on Friday. And it too may be looking for a crossover. So a little bit confused on that. Looking at the 1 day forex climate, we've had a lot of signals on Friday. We're currently in an upward directional signal, and the 2 lower channels are not looking as if they're ready to cross at any time soon. So this is telling me that we are potentially in an area of change as far as the 1 hour chart is concerned, which is potentially confirmed by the 4 hour but not the day. So it's not the strongest of signals. Now I check out forexfactory.com to see if there's any significant news coming up. And you can see towards the top third of the screen here, I've got Monday the 20th of August. The time is 8:57 a.m. That's my local time. And there is no news highlighted for anything in terms of red on the euro, the dollar, or the pound for today. So I've got no news to take into account. In terms of using Jeff's lines and whole numbers for taking an overview of the market, you can see that we're very close to the opening price of last night at the green line. So we haven't breached either the 50 plus or the 50 minus line. So it's not giving us any great signal. We have not established for today yet a great directional trend. So that's not going to inform our conclusion on this matter a great deal. We've now looked at all of the factors that I take into account in deciding where in the trading environment we're starting for this session. My conclusion is that we're not being helped particularly very strongly today. We're nowhere near having gone through Jeff's lines to give a strong directional travel indication. We have got some help from the forex climate in telling us that we may be looking for another crossover and a change in direction from there, and there's no news to either help or hinder us to get in the way of things. So I'm clear really to just use for the moment the Bollinger Bands as my main trading tool until one of these other areas comes into a more helpful area. So we'll have a look now at an example of undertaking a Bollinger Band based trade. I'm now getting ready to take a Bollinger Band signal. We can see that the price has been at the top Bollinger Band, it's stepped down, it's gone through the middle, and it's getting close to both the bottom Bollinger Band and last night's opening price, which is in itself a pivot point. This is the 1 minute chart. If I look at the 5 minute chart, I see that we've actually hit the middle, gone through, again getting close to that pivot point, which it's already used several times recently, and there is a potential trade here warming up for me. On the 15 minute chart, we've been running up the top Bollinger Band, and again we're at that pivot point, so the signals here are not perfect, but they are pretty good. So, having just about got there, I'll now take the order. So it's new order, and I'm going to take a buy trade. At the moment I'm not going to put in a take profit on this. And now we'll just follow that. So immediately we can see that the difference between the two prices, the bid and the ask, is the spread. So my trade isn't as close to that bottom line as I would like it to be. And we'll just give this a few minutes. I'll pause the recording while we're seeing what happens next. It's now 2 minutes later, and we can see that the price has hit that middle green line, slightly gone through it. It's in an upward mode, it's turned around, and it looks as if it's bouncing up. And there it goes on to its 3rd minute since the trade. You can see in the bottom right hand corner of this screen that we're negative by 390 at the moment. So we'll just pause again and watch what happens over the next few minutes. So less than a minute on, the trade is in profit. It is £4.15 profit. It's gone through the middle and it's heading on up. And I'm going to open the trade, getting ready to accept some profit. It's hesitating at the middle Bollinger Band line, so it could still go bad on me and turn down, but let's just wait for a moment and see. Of course, this is a demonstration trade. I would give this probably a lot longer than I am this morning to make me profit than I will on this occasion, but hopefully it's a good demonstration of how to do it. So we're now getting back towards the top line, and we're £12.30 in profit. For the sake of this demonstration now, I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm actually going to close this trade so we can complete the recording. I would like to have shown you a trade using Jeff's lines, but the absence of volatility over the last 8 or 9 days has actually made that impossible. There is to be another volume to this program which will be specifically about the 10-minute per day trading system that relies heavily on Jeff's lines. We'll come to that. However, in the absence of movement around the lines, and even looking at a time when Bollinger Bands may not be very useful, which is as soon as the market opens on a Sunday night, there is another trade that I'd like to show you, and it's called the gap. Basically, we heard earlier that gaps occur and that when they do, they're likely to close again. The most frequently occurring gap is on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock when the market opens. You can see on the illustration here that there was a big gap down, but you can also see that the market continued to move until eventually that gap was closed. Therefore, a good trade for a Sunday night is to put a trade on after the gap has occurred. In this case it was a gap down, so it would be a buy trade, and to put a take profit order in place before you go off to bed to take the money out once the gap is closed, or nearly closed if you're a bit cautious. That's the gap trade, available basically most Sunday nights, and a very easy, quick one to do. Quite often, in fact, the gap closes within 10 or 15 minutes of opening on a Sunday night, so it's not necessarily the case you go off to bed waiting for something to happen. As Module 7 has really been a practical demonstration of the material covered in the earlier modules, you may need to check your understanding by going back to some of those modules if that's necessary. As an alternative, please feel free to contact me or Raven Glenn, and we will help you as much as we possibly can.